Hello, true duelists. My name's Craig Fee, and as always, welcome to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Update. We are, of course, in national season, and while there were no YCSs this past weekend, it's okay, because it's Nats time, baby. Matter of fact, the Italian National Championship took place with some 1,643 duelists in attendance. Now, because Konami decided to lean even harder into the comedy than I do in these videos, they've decided to make it all take place under the last ban list. The current format didn't come into effect until June 5th, and this event took place on the 3rd and the 4th, so it was under the old format, and that means it's Kashtira. Are you surprised? Of course you're not. It's a Rise Harding Kashtira. That was the top dog of the format. So I won't be going too much into the details of it, because who cares? It's not the current format. Fucking sick, dude. Still, congrats to Lorenzo Muselli. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll try. Maybe for winning with Kashtira. The talk of the town, however, didn't go to the winner. It went to the second place player, one Michelangelo Muelli, for not only reminding us that I am morally obligated, of course, to stop trying to pronounce other names, and I just need to let the Google text-to-speech do it for me, and because they topped with Vanquish Soul. Yes, the new set Wild Survivors had just dropped that Thursday or Friday in Europe, and this man's decided, fuck it, we're gonna top with the newest archetype possible. And because of that, I've decided, fuck it, that's as good a deck as any to cover in this week's Spice Watch. The deck's first big top comes to the same weekend of its release, my god, giving us a look at what it is we can expect from it in the competitive scene. Two things to note about this deck: Tick Boo and Zeus. That's not all it does, but it does those two things, and it can do them pretty well. The abundance of types means the deck can play around there can be only one or Tick Boo with ease, not to mention the effects that bounce themselves back to the hand and that fighting game style tagout system really help enable it, so that they can get their Beast Warrior off the field to summon the dragon and get the dragon effect, or what have you. Also, because they've got a plethora of level 4s, that means that they can overlay two of them into a small little Zodiac engine to make themselves Zeus. Because Chakanine into Borbo is two activation format Zeus, so that's cool. That's what the kids tell me. The general consensus with this deck is that the strength seems to be tied in large part to the hand traps that are available to it, namely the more playable fire attribute, dark attribute, and earth attribute cards and hand traps are, the better this deck can do, on account of it needing to reveal attributes to get its effects off. So as long as Ash Blossom is good, this deck's at least somewhat competitive. Ghost Bell serves as a solid earth, and the main deck actually played Kaijus, just as a solid little earth reveal. And of course, with dark, Bestials are a thing. So if Bestials ever come back and Ghost Bell gets good, this deck might just be nutty. Now, it's also worth mentioning that this top was probably in no small part due to the fact that the deck was incredibly new and people were very unfamiliar with it. Not to take away from second place, that's still an achievement, but if you're looking for the Vanquish Souls to drop in price, fuck you. That's the general consensus, because it got a top right away, and if it can continue to see new success in the new format, which it already did well in the past format, and the new format just seems like the last format but weaker, you know what I'm saying? Either way, it's a neat new toy for the meta and a big chunk out of your wallet, so spicy. In Master Duel news this week, we've got the new ban list coming into effect, limiting most of the Ishizu cards and even the newly added Bestials, specifically Magnemut and Druis Worm. But it'll also add Magnemut and Druis Worm, so whether or not you want to bitch about Bestials being in the game or being limited is now up to you. I appreciate Konami's dedication to make this as even as possible. I'm glad we have multiple avenues to complain about Bestials. There just hasn't been enough of that lately in the TCG. There's also, in the new set, Sprite Sprint, which is pretty damn important since Sprite is the number 2 deck in the game, arguably the number 1, depending on whether or not your name is Joshua Schmidt, I suppose, or you know, anyone that did, well, you get it, you get the joke. There's also, of course, Garura, is now in the game. That lovely little Super Poly target that lets them draw one if it ends up leaving the field, but Super Poly, so cool. Love game. What else is there to say about it? Nothing else really. That's the big change for Master Duel. Oh wait, they've also added the new card report. Wait. The new card report system in the game is actually a way that you can look at the percentage of use amongst particular cards, the example being shown being Max C. This will show you the win rate of decks that are playing it, how many copies are often played, and of course, how many people are playing it. Can you believe that Max C is only in 87% of decks? I guess 13% of players just want to lose. That actually kind of makes sense, I think. I might have just, who knows? Either way, that's what's up this week in Master Duel. Also this past week, the Wild Survivors dropped, giving us the Vanquished Souls, but 2 other archetypes as well, or 1.5, because we got a solid tier 2 deck, and we got Duel, and also Dino's got like 2 or 3 cards. Because Cash is king and the winner for ultra rares this set actually wasn't Vanquished Soul, Comedy has decided that it's Xeno Ground. Yes, Dino's new Tuner Rhoda card is currently going for about $35 USD a pop, the result of having only 1 good card be an ultra rare and only getting about 3 ultra rares in a set, so your odds of pulling that particular ultra rare are pretty low. So another L for dinosaurs, I suppose. Meanwhile, the inadvertent side effect of oops all ultras for printing strategies of an archetype is that you almost certainly are getting at least 2 Vanquished Souls every time you buy a box, which almost kinda sorta kept the prices lower than expected. That might be some weapons grade copium depending on what your definition of budget or expensive is, but in practical terms it seems ultra rare copies of Raisin are about $26 a piece, and your cards such as Borger, Dr. Madlove, the in-archetype Hero Lives, and the Link Monster are all about $18 each. And with the Furry and the Dragon going at about $5, it seems that the deck in total costs somewhere in the $200 to $300 range, approximately. All for a tier 2 deck. Is that budget relative to the cost of Cash Tier last format? I guess. Is that budget for me? No. Like I said, kind of depends on what your definition of these terms are. Really, the ultimate takeaway from this deck in this set is that it is a gamble, because do you think they're going to get a very good piece of support in a later core set, much like Pearly did, or do you think that their card's going to be underwhelming? Because depending on whether or not that card's good or bad and how decent it does in the metagame, this is either going to the moon or it's just kind of gonna hover where it's at. That's my unofficial prediction. And now for Mouvele. Yeah, fuck it, beef, cow, moo. Nouvelle, the field spell's rocking about $10, the pre-pep's about $8, and the mandatory collector's rare Hungry Burger is $50. Because you've got to get it, if you're not getting a collector's rare, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, that's not too bad. And speaking of the collector rares, Raisin is the true money card of the set, rocking a solid $100 per for that collector's rare, and like every other Vanquished Soul collector's rare is like $70 as well. I think everything's going for about $70, even UCT and Overraptor, but it's okay. Fossil Dig collector's rare is $60, so we're making big savings. Oh, I still can't believe that we didn't get a collector's rare enemy controller. Instead, we got collector's rare Tickboo. The fuck did we do to deserve that? And no, I will not take Twitter harassment as the thing we did to deserve that. They should have given us a ban list. And what else is there? How about some merch news? Have you seen that nice little participation game mat that they're giving out at the World Championship qualifiers? Yeah, check that shit out. Minkanko Red, Blue, and Woman. They're all women. Yeah, it looks pretty neat. Konami knows their audience, I suppose. And if you're actually good at the game and you can get to World's Top Cut, you can even qualify for this evenly matched playmat, which is pretty damn cool looking, isn't it? All you have to do is qualify for Worlds and then further make Top Cut. I'm sure plenty of us will be doing that, just with the greatest of ease. And speaking of things you statistically will never own, The OCG has revealed a new promotional vanilla Blackluster Soldier promotional card, of which there will only be reportedly 3,000 copies produced. To win one of these, as I understand it, you must first spend at least 3,000 yen on Yu-Gi-Oh goodies at participating stores, at which point you'll be giving a scratch ticket, which when scratched reveals a code, and by entering that code online, you're entered into a raffle to then have your name drawn to win the card. Why the fuck does requiring this require a small Tears of the Kingdom style side quest? Because it's Japan, I guess? I have no fucking clue. What's most interesting about this card, however, is that it's not just a collectible. This is apparently a legal card that can be played in your deck, named Blackluster Soldier, which means that if you are playing it in your deck, you can only have 3 copies between this and the original Ritual Blackluster Soldier monster. That's according to Konami, apparently, not just me. So that also creates the first vanilla to tie for Blue Eyes' 3000 attack stat, because nothing else in the game has ever actually matched Blue Eyes in the vanilla category prior to this. Not even Rabbit Dragon. Not even Go Giga Gaga Gigo. My god, if not even Go Giga Gaga Gigo could do it, how could possibly Yugi's Ace Monster, I wonder? The tickets are available from June 10th through to July 31st if you are the one person watching this who can go to a store in Japan. Otherwise, you can look forward to inflated prices of it on eBay or something, followed by tweets from your favorite creators showing off that they do in fact have a better collection than you. I'm not jealous, you are. And moving on to our top story for this week, Dark Magician Girl figures and their impact on us all, from a financial level to a socio-economic one. The global economy is a complex and interconnected web of industries, wherein the success or failure of a particular product or market can have far-reaching consequences. In recent times, an unexpected trend has emerged that sheds light on the peculiar relationship between consumer interest in Dark Magician Girl figures and its potential effects on the global economy. Dark Magician Girl figures have long been a clear showcase for the strength of the marketplace, and it's known that they have both tremendous financial as well as cultural value. And yet, despite this newest Dark Magician Girl figure from Fantastic Territory only being the 14th Dark Magician Girl figure revealed thus far this year, there seems to be limited interest. Could it be that market saturation and the oversupply of Dark Magician Girl figures could be diluting their collectible value, thereby reducing incentive for fans to be making purchases? And while the impact of declining Dark Magician Girl figure sales on the global economy may not be immediately apparent, it's essential to consider the interconnected nature of the marketplace. Manufacturers and retailers affected by this trend may struggle to maintain financial stability, leading to potential layoffs and reduced consumer spending power in their respective regions. In turn, this could contribute to a broader economic slowdown, affecting related industries as well as sectors. Similar companies, such as Amakuni's line of protagonist figures, seem to be trying to make up for this recent slowdown, but the likes of Yuma and Jaden will not be able to make up for this deficit. They don't have nearly large enough breasts to cover up the Dark Magician Girl figure enthusiasts who keep our global market going. Nor would any of the GX era monsters being released in the same wave. What, you think Neospatian Grand Mole is going to be keeping us afloat? These markets need to be kept rigid, and Grand Mole's rock typing is simply not enough compared to the enthusiasm of Dark Magician Girl figure collectors. Perhaps, maybe a 15th Dark Magician Girl figure will be enough to save our floundering economy. But until such time here, at the update, we will have to keep you posted on this most troubling trend. However, based on the Booba-style comments that I have seen and even now made, I doubt that I'll be the one actually reporting on it, because I'm probably going to be fired.
You're fucked, dude.
Yeah, that makes sense. Moving on. In community news, the need for one Gregory Feganite to apologize continues, with his atrocious Australian impression last week causing the former Australian Prime Minister to wander off into the ocean and never be seen again. Yeah, apparently I did that. So, whoops. My bad. Didn't mean that one. Still less offensive to Australians than whatever the hell it is my German pronunciation of Swap Frog's name is, so overall we all stay losing. Fucking poggerific. Is this, are we laughing? I fucking hope so. We're moving on. And real quick at the end here, just because it shook me to my fucking core. On MBT's latest 10-minute testing, going over the Nouvelle archetype, YouTube commenter Smug Looking Barrel pointed out the potential alternate universe where that deck had come out before the Brilliant Fusion engine and Brilliant Fusion itself did back in 2015, making it so that instead of all of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Yu-Gi-Oh! Players referring to their engine pieces that they only want in the deck until they utilize them in the engine that forces you to play them, they would be called burgers in place of garnets. Because as I said in my Garnet single card history video,
Nice play.
thank you very much, that term became a game-wide one. And my God, if it isn't part of utopian society to imagine calling it burgers instead of garnets, then what is? A hard burger and a soft burger? These are the terms Yu-Gi-Oh! Is missing, and I do support renaming garnets to burgers and part of the glory of the burg. So, thank you to our community's greatest hero. You're doing God's work, Smug Looking Barrel. And that's it. So shoutouts as always go to this week's sponsor, the LIFD Magnetic Display. The best way to support my channel currently and the true Duelist approved way to showcase all your favorite cards. Like a collector's rare hungry burger you paid a non-negligible amount of money for because you aren't a coward, goddammit, you're getting that CR. But it's okay because I can get you a little savings on one of these bad boys to make up for maybe that little bit extra you put into your burger. Because Lord knows you got to put those burgers on display. So go ahead and type in my promo code YGOSTRATS15 for 15% off, or you can have it apply automatically by clicking the link in the description. Thank you to LIFD for the continued support as always, and thank you for watching. And so that wraps it up for this week's update. As always, I've been your host, Craig Fee, and make sure you subscribe to YGO Strats for next week's update to impress your smoking Italian wife, and so you too can be a true duelist.